In 226 BCE, on the island of Rhodes, a bronze giant collapsed at the knees, not in myth, in daylight, in front of a harbor built to celebrate survival. For decades, sailors had watched sunlight strike its surface and turn the entrance to the port into a blade of fire. Then the earth moved, the internal supports failed, and one of the most famous objects in the ancient world became a ruin almost instantly. No battle destroyed it, no empire erased it, it simply broke. And that raises the question beneath every lost wonder. If these monuments were meant to defy time, why did time erase almost all of them? Start with the record, start with the archive. The ancient lists speak in absolutes, wonders, miracles, masterpieces beyond imagination. But when we open the file, something is wrong. The monuments are famous, the evidence is fractured, the map is crowded with names, yet the ground itself is often silent. A statue with no surviving fragment, gardens with no confirmed footprint. A temple remembered more clearly in retelling than in stone. That shouldn't happen. Verified evidence shows the Great Pyramid still stands because it is brutally simple. Millions of heavy stone blocks stacked with overwhelming mass. But the other wonders were different. Bronze skin over iron frames, marble lifted over marshland, timber hidden beneath beauty, fuel, water systems, reflective surfaces. They were miracles of engineering. They were also vulnerable systems. And then the contradiction gets worse. The Colossus of Rhodes was born from war spoils. Contemporary reports claim the Rhodians sold abandoned siege equipment and used the money to commission a statue of Helios. So a machine built to break a city became the financial engine for a monument celebrating freedom. First reversal, but scale changed everything. Double the height meant exponentially more stress, more weight, more risk. The record celebrates triumph. The mechanics whisper instability. A legend says the fallen bronze lay on the ground for centuries. Then another reversal. The afterlife of the monument was not preservation, but inventory. Metal became commodity. Its remains were cut apart and hauled away, reduced to cargo in a ledger no one kept. The bones vanished into furnaces, coins, trade. Not hidden, reprocessed. So what does that tell us? That ancient loss was not always dramatic. Sometimes the missing file is the ending. Now move west to Alexandria, around 285 BCE. An island, a tower, salt in the air. White stone catching Mediterranean light. The lighthouse of Pharos may have risen more than 100 meters, a signal machine built to dominate sea lanes. Verified evidence shows it functioned for centuries. Fire burned at the top. Reflective surfaces amplified light. A ramp carried fuel upward. This was not symbolic grandeur. It worked. That changes everything, because the second wonder did not vanish quickly. It survived dynasties. It endured Romans, then later Arab rule. If a monument can survive political collapse, what finally kills it? Contemporary reports claimed earthquakes repeatedly damaged the structure. The seismic map makes that plausible. One hypothesis suggests repairs and structural weakening created a slow-motion failure. But the record goes cold. Drawings disagree. And then the contradiction sharpens. Parts of the lighthouse may not have disappeared at all. Verified evidence shows stone blocks and fragments were found underwater in Alexandria's harbor. Other stones were reused in fortifications. A wonder did not simply fall. It was redistributed. The crate became a wall. The tower became a seabed. The monument was not erased from matter. It was erased from form. Patterns feel intentional, but patterns aren't proof. Look at the map, and a pattern emerges anyway. Rhodes, Alexandria, Ephesus, Halicarnassus, Olympia, Babylon, or perhaps not Babylon at all. Across regions, the same sequence repeats. Creation, reverence, damage, repurposing, silence. Is that coincidence? Or is preservation the exception? Now the contradiction gets personal. The Hanging Gardens are among the most famous wonders, yet their file is the thinnest. Contemporary reports claimed a terraced marvel in Babylon, built for a queen longing for green mountains. A legend says water climbed through hidden mechanisms, feeding suspended trees. But where is the record? Where is the inventory number? Where is the inscription? Verified evidence shows no definitive Babylonian inscription confirms the gardens as later described. That is the third reversal. The most vivid wonder may be the least securely located. One hypothesis suggests the Greek record fused multiple landscapes. Another suggests the gardens stood in Nineveh, where texts and hydraulic systems fit better. The map shifts, the file moves, the label on the crate may have been wrong from the beginning, and then the record breaks. The missing evidence does not prove a secret. It proves distance, translation, copying, and the need to complete a beautiful story. The bones are absent, so imagination fills the lab. But absence is not proof of invention. The gardens may have existed in altered form, or they may be a masterpiece of literary survival. At Ephesus, the pattern changes again. Around 550 BCE, the Temple of Artemis rose in marble scale so vast it resembled a sacred city. Verified evidence shows it was one of the grandest temples of the Greek world. The soft ground may even have absorbed seismic shock. Then, in 356 BCE, the temple burned. Contemporary reports claimed a man named Herostratus set it on fire for fame. Why destroy magnificence just to be remembered? Because attention itself can become a weapon. This changes everything. The temple was rebuilt. That is the fourth reversal, but the second life was not eternal. Later invasions, changing religions, stone robbing, and burial did what fire did not finish. Verified evidence shows the site was dismantled, its material reused, its foundations swallowed by sediment. Today, a single column stands in wet ground, like a bookmark in a burned library. The photograph is lonely. The silence is louder than the ruin. Then, Halicarnassus. Then, Olympia. The mausoleum of Halicarnassus gave the world a word. Verified evidence shows it was a monumental tomb. It survived for centuries. Then earthquakes destabilized it. Later, its stone was quarried for military construction. The more admired the monument, the more valuable its materials became after collapse. And the Zeus of Olympia may be the most haunting case. Not a building, but an interior vision. Gold, ivory, cedar. Contemporary reports claimed viewers felt the god might rise. Verified evidence shows the statue was real and that the workshop of Phidias has been identified. The lab confirms craft. The archive confirms reputation, but the object itself is gone. One hypothesis suggests the statue was moved to Constantinople and later destroyed in a fire. But the record goes cold. No surviving fragment. Gold melts. Ivory burns. Wood disappears. The bones were always more fragile than the image. So why do modern myths keep returning to these wonders as if they were hidden? An unverified modern myth claims lost wonders were deliberately concealed. The reason those stories spread is simple. Human psychology hates incompletion. We are drawn to the missing photograph, the mislabeled crate, the inventory number with no object attached. But most of the time, the real answer is less cinematic. Earthquakes, fire, water, reuse, neglect. What do we know? We know most wonders were real monuments of extraordinary ambition, and that several were destroyed through natural forces and human reuse. We know the Great Pyramid survived because its structure is massively overbuilt. We know others left traces in archaeology or texts. What remains plausible? That some descriptions were exaggerated. That writers merged memory with myth. That the Hanging Gardens may have been misplaced or transformed. What is likely myth? That the wonders were secretly preserved intact. The central question has an answer. The lost wonders vanished because brilliance is not durability. The more refined the system, the more ways it can fail. And once the culture that maintains a monument disappears, the monument enters a harsher economy. Stone as resource, metal as value, wood as fuel, memory as rumor. Not lost, not hidden, just broken, scattered, and never fully understood.